Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Wednesday. Welcome to another episode of Come On Ref. I am your host. I'm Chad. My name's Chad Bryan. Who have I? Let me look at my screen. And who have I got? I got Natalie. I've got Max. I've got Jared, and I've got an empty seat. And um, $10 says that empty seat comes with a less mid take than Max. Anyway, I'm just kidding, Max. I love you.
Wow.
Good to see you
All
guys.
right. Guess we're
Weeks.
firing shots.
Shots fired already on the show. It's fine. It's fine. It's how we lead in. I kid because I care. How have you guys been? It's been a couple of weeks, man, since we've seen each other. How have you been?
It's been busy, man. I mean, I can't believe tomorrow's February. Like, it doesn't.
That's crazy.
It doesn't even feel like it. Like, it's crazy.
I know. It's the worst time of the year in sports. I'm going to say it until I'm blue in the well, I probably won't say anything when I'm blue in the face, but yeah, it's the worst time of the year for sports. Like this is like we've got one football game left, and then it's like a bunch of regular season basketball. That's I think even the players are a little bit bored with it, don't you?
Yeah.
It's officially tomorrow. We're probably like a month away from the madness.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's good. You got a month of that, and the days are getting longer. I mean, the days have been getting longer since what? Pretty much, right around Christmas or so. So that's, I guess, promising. Like it's not dark for 20 hours a day anymore. That's good.
Spring training will start soon.
Yeah, pitchers and catchers report. There's bright stuff ahead, right? I'm looking down the tunnel. I see some light down there. I guess I shouldn't be so doom and gloom. Huh? Thanks, guys. You cheered me up this morning. Appreciate that. Speaking of baseball, though, let's get into some headlines because hey, like some free agency signings, like some dominoes are starting to fall after the two massive contracts that the Dodgers deferred until the year 3000 or whatever. Justin Turner. I don't know if anybody saw this. Justin Turner signed with the Blue Jays. Took 1 year, $13 million with the Blue Jays. Jock Peterson is now in Arizona, and I have a special affinity for Jock Peterson. I feel like when he signed with the Braves, when they traded for him that year, when he came over with the Braves, I should say, he kind of provided that fire and that spark in that clubhouse. He brought a different attitude. He may do that for Arizona. That may be, he's not going to be the guy that's going to come in and hit 330 with like 50 home runs or anything. He's not going to change your situation that way, but he's just got that attitude, man. He's just supremely confident, right?
I think if Jock Peterson really brings that fire and edge like he did with the Braves, with the Diamondbacks, I think on paper, this is a good signing for the Diamondbacks, considering they were just in the World Series and they were lacking some offensive production.
Yeah.
So I think this is a good bat for them, but they have to build from this signing and add someone else because they need more help than just Marte and Jock.
Sure.
And who knows who's to say that everyone will stay? Will Corbin Carroll, Tommy Pham, will Tommy Pham stay? So I think it's a great signing for Jock and the Diamondbacks.
Yeah,
I was surprised that Justin Turner wanted to stay in the AL East because
that man's been in the ringer through there.
He's consistent. It doesn't matter who he's with, he can hit the snot of the ball. And I thought he was doing great things with the Red Sox, but apparently he just didn't see it.
I've never just like Justin Turner in the AL East basketball. I've never seen Jock Peterson in an AL jersey. Never seen it.
He's never left the NL. Or no, he did one time, but
yeah, it was the Braves a little bit, yeah. But he went right back to the NL West, yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen him outside of the National League.
But
never.
I mean, for Turner's sake, I think this is a great ad for the Blue Jays. But I know the Guardians are like this way, and I think the Blue Jays are like this too. Free agent signings look good on paper, but then they never turn out. And that's like that with a lot of teams, but especially the Blue Jays. So, their infield is solid. You have Vladdy, you have Whit Merrifield, and now you have Justin Turner. So and you have Chapman as well.
Yeah.
So I think they have a solid infield core, but I definitely think they have to keep building off this sign and see what they can do if they want to make a run for the AL East, the toughest division, arguably in baseball.
I don't even know if it's arguable. I mean, the AL East is absolutely wild. It's very top heavy, and it's like every team is good. The Red Sox might have, take a little step back, but every team is really good.
Yeah, and especially how Baltimore did this past season as well.
Yeah.
You have 85 plus win teams in that division every year.
Yeah, and Baltimore, had one of the youngest rosters and continues to have one of the youngest rosters, and the future looks very bright for them.
And their owner just sold the team for $1.7 billion.
Yeah, I was gonna buy it, and then it slipped out from under me while I was working on the show last night. I didn't get the chance to actually put that last bid in.
Maybe next time.
Yeah, my last bid was like $18, and then it just rose up to $1.7 billion. It got out from under me. Yeah, I was watching it on eBay. Speaking of signings that look really, really good on paper, I don't know if you guys saw Rhys Hoskins signed with the Brewers, 2 years, $34 million. And it feels like that's what the Brewers maybe kind of needed to get over the hump in that NL Central, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, I completely agree. I think this is a great sign for the Brewers. And to be honest, it proved this past season with Hoskins being out with his ACL injury, Phillies didn't really need him. They really didn't. So I'm glad Hoskins has a fresh start. Yeah. I know personally it's hard to come back from an injury, especially an ACL injury. So it's going to be interesting to see how he comes back from that, how he turns and pivots, hitting and throwing in the outfield and running and stuff like that. But no, I think this is like with the Blue Jays. I think this is a great sign for the Brewers. They got to build off of this because that first round exit in the playoffs this past year, yes, the D-backs got hot, but in reality, that wasn't the Brewers team we saw all season.
No.
I think they're trying to rely on Christian Yelich a little too much.
Yeah. I mean, the Brewers looked really dangerous heading into the postseason. And then, kind of like the Braves, they fizzled out.
They had the rotation, but the thing is, coming up this season, do they get rid of Corbin Burns? What's going to happen with Christian Yelich? Is he going to be the form he was last year? Can he get back to his MVP form that he was?
Is Lorenzo Cain still on their team too, or did he leave? I can't remember because I remember.
I'd have to check the roster. For some reason, like the NL Central is like the division, and it's like the black hole division for me. Like I just never. I don't mean to not pay attention to it. I just never know what's going on in the NL Central.
Right.
I don't mean to do that. The NL Central is like the NFC South.
Kind of. Yeah. Kind of. Yeah. Well, and there's not a lot of great baseball. I mean, you could always count on the Cardinals, and then now you don't even have that. I don't know. It's a tough division right now. It's a tough one for me.
Yeah, but we're definitely going to see some more signings coming up, which I'm looking forward to. Yeah. But like with any free agent signing, especially in baseball, paper and on the field are completely different. So let's see how they all turn out.
Yeah. Listen, Hoskins is, as long as he's healthy from the ACL, he's probably going to turn out. I don't know if you guys know, from 2017 through 2022, basically, 2017 to 2022, we'll call it. He was like top 8 in home runs, RBIs, extra base hits, walks, total bases, doubles. I mean, he was just a hitting machine for like 5 seasons right there, 6 seasons. So, I mean, it's a really good signing for the Brewers. I think he's still got plenty left in the tank.
I do too. I really hope it pans out for him,
Yeah, me too.
We'll see how far the Brewers can make it. If they can get over that playoff hump.
Not so much that they eliminate the Braves in the playoffs, but it's nice to see something from from the NL Central, right?
I can't wait to see what happens with those two this season, the Braves and the Phillies.
Yeah, they're headed for another confrontation probably in the playoffs. And listen,
during the regular season at least.
Yeah, well, definitely all regular season. It'll be whatever. But it seems like the games don't even mean that much in the regular season. The Braves always dominate the Phillies in the regular season. That's no problem. Right. And then the playoffs come around, and the Phillies are just a different group of guys, man. And I wish the Braves had that extra gear. I really do.
Oh, yeah.
It's commendable. It's whatever. I do want to move on. This one, I don't want to, get into the details of this too much, but we do have to talk about. I mean, Vince McMahon is out as the I don't know, I guess the chairperson for WWE and the parent company TKO, amid some pretty serious allegations from a former employee. Again, not really the show to maybe get into the details of this, but it's pretty nasty, man. If you guys read through any of this, it's out there. You can Google it. It's not a good situation. It's not a good look. You've already got, some people kind of, hey, Deborah, how you doing? You've got some people, Triple H kind of tried to sweep it under the rug a little bit, said, hey, I'm only focusing on the positive.
Right.
That's fine. But I think from a public relations standpoint, with everything that's going on, maybe the right answer is like, hey, we're going to find out who all is involved. We're going to clean house in this, right? Like, we're going to make this a watchable product, a family product.
It's like WWE is up and down right now. They just signed a deal with Netflix. So WWE and Netflix are going to make a ton of money with their shows, WWE Monday Night Raw. And
as long as they still have the sponsors, they need to keep the sponsors. And that's
that's another thing that Max just mentioned it. One of their big sponsors is Slim Jim, and they were all over the sponsorship during the Royal Rumble this past Saturday. And this is the first time no McMahon has been in WWE in a long time, and it's sad for fans, it's sad for kids,
sad for our parents who used to grow up with the McMahons.
Yeah. So I mean,
well, I think it's maybe more sad for the victims in this too. I don't think
Right? Yeah, but it's like it's like that one piece that was like always there.
Yeah.
Felt like,
well, the times have changed. I mean, it's not the Attitude Era anymore, And WWE is one of the biggest entertainment sports industries in the world.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've kind of gotten back into it just for like the story, if you will,
Okay.
Okay.
But
I got the reference there.
But
it's hard for me to watch, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm not trying to be, it's a tough watch for me.
Like it's WrestleMania season, so sometimes at the Royal Rumble there's special guests that appear.
Of course. Yeah, for sure.
Obviously, big WrestleMania moments. So that's why I'm kind of watching it a bit, just like a good maybe like 20, 30 minutes, and I turn it off. Yeah. Triple H can say all he wants about McMahon, the business itself. But I did not think the Royal Rumble was great. I did not. And I think everyone just got distracted from the whole Vince McMahon thing. And it really affected the Royal Rumble's performance because it wasn't a normal Royal Rumble that you expect, at least.
I mean, it's sent shockwaves throughout the whole sport. I mean, it's it's affected multiple individuals, multiple, like you said, sponsors, events. I mean, it's gonna. I'm sure it's gonna be a long lasting thing.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what else do you say about it. It's not a good situation.
No, not at all.
Let's move on. I want to talk about let's talk about a little basketball. It's basketball season, right? We'll get to the conference championships. I know those are looming large, and we will get to those. We'll talk about the Ravens and Chiefs and the Lions and the Niners. We'll get to that a little bit later on in the show. But I don't know, this is kind of exciting, I guess. The All-Star starters were announced, right, for the NBA. So LeBron and Giannis are captains. I don't know if anybody's surprised by any of that. Maybe we just don't appreciate LeBron enough. Is this his 20th year in the NBA?
20th straight NBA All-Star game. The only time he didn't make it were his rookie and his sophomore season.
It's unbelievable what he's been. I mean, I don't know. I've run out of words to describe the things that LeBron does. Maybe we have to make up new words at this point. We'll come up with some come on ref terms to describe LeBron. But yeah, it's amazing. I mean, I don't know how to describe it. He's not human, is he? Is he human?
He's superhuman.
He played the Hawks last night at State Farm Arena, and his first game at State Farm Arena, Trae Young was 5 years old when he played at State Farm Arena.
I saw that stat.
And he's basically still playing at the same level. It's not.
Well, it's amazing too. Like some players come up to him, "Oh, do you remember so and so's name?" And he'll be like, "Yeah" or "No." And they're like, "Oh yeah, that was my dad." And he's like, "Oh, I'm that old. If I'm playing with the kid's son nowadays,
And it feels like he could play another 10 years. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that's in his plans or not. But
we'll see with him and Bronny. I mean,
yeah.
But
closing in on 40,000 points. I mean, this is unbelievable. His career is unbelievable. We're stuck in this like thing in society where we don't give people the credit they deserve in sports. We like to find a reason to hate on people for whatever. I don't know why we do that.
Some people don't realize how much you have to do to take care of your body, especially as an athlete.
Yeah, I mean, you are literally looking at once in a lifetime greatness right now, and we worry about oh, he flops. Shut up. What are you talking about? That's an advantage for your team.
He's the greatest basketball player of all time.
It's hard to argue.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really hard to argue. I grew up and I watched Jordan, and I get it. Like the emotional bias is there for me for Jordan a lot, but I don't know, man. You watch the things that LeBron has been able to do, and it's unbelievable. I don't know. And I guess we could talk about the rest of the starters here. We'll get to the East first. You've got, I think, obvious Joel Embiid, Jason Tatum, Tyrese Halliburton, and Damian Lillard round out that squad. I don't. Any surprises there really in the East? Anybody get left out that you thought would be in?
Not really. I mean, it is kind of weird seeing Damian Lillard in the East for an All-Star game.
Yeah.
But
this is his first ever All-Star game start. He's never started an All-Star game.
And you guys, I don't know if you remember how many of you were on the show when he first got. I said this wouldn't work out for him. I didn't think it would really work out this situation, but he's playing well.
I mean, we looked.
What do I know?
They faced the Cavs on Wednesday night last week.
Yeah.
We saw what they did pregame. They were jumping around like they just won the championship, and that was the first night without their head coach.
Right.
It's like like the swing.
Who was what 30 and 13 when he got fired?
Yeah, and he said The report was that he lost the locker room after they lost to the Pacers in the semifinal play-in tournament or in-season tournament.
Well, okay. I guess if you lose the locker room, I don't know. We're not there,
Right.
30-13 seems certainly good enough for me. What they were second in the East at the time. I don't know. That happens in the NBA though. We see it a lot. We've seen it here. We've seen a winning coach get canned here in the middle of, first in the conference, and it doesn't matter. It's like, hey, it's not good enough. Get out of here. We want Ty Lue now. I don't know. It's whatever. It happens in the NBA. The rest of the West starters. I don't know if you guys want to. It's who is it? Who do I have? Kevin Durant. And no surprise, Jokic. I mean, the most miserable guy in basketball is. I don't know.
He wants to race horses. That's all he wants.
That's okay. I get it, man. I love him for it. I mean, I don't want him to be grumpy, but it's a really entertaining watch. When he, like I said it before, he just looks like he's like someone's forced him to be out there, and I don't know. Like you might get a game where he doesn't even change his shoes. He just goes out there in sandals and socks and plays, and still goes like with a 40-point
triple on the court. He's really happy on the court.
Yeah,
like there's no doubt about that.
Right. Maybe he's just really hungry all the time. I have that problem.
Well,
anyway, Luka Doncic, which is not surprising, and then Shai Gilgeous-Alexander are the remainder of the starters there.
Hey,
guys, I think there's a glaring omission here in the West, don't you?
Steph Curry, where is he?
Well, I don't know if you know about Steph Curry, but yeah, anybody else that's missing maybe on the West roster?
I mean, I'm glad Alexander got the start. I think he's really worked hard and proven himself that he's a name, not only for OKC but in the West.
Yeah.
He's made a name for himself. So
who am I forgetting?
I was glad he made it. Obviously, some people want Steph Curry to start.
Who I'm forgetting some.
Devin Booker? You forgetting?
Devin Booker.
Anybody else? I just while we think about who Max might be forgetting, let's. I was thinking everybody should love LeBron. I know somebody who doesn't. We talked about it before the show. Like, what's going on with LeBron and Dylan Brooks right now, man?
I'll tell you what, Chad. We said a little bit before the show. Dylan Brooks, he likes to talk a big game.
Yeah.
Can he produce a good game? Sometimes, depends on the night.
Sure.
But Dylan Brooks is not a household name in the NBA. And the other night, he was trying to defend a shot or layup, on LeBron, and he hit him in the face. Okay, I get it. It's a foul. Whether it was on purpose or accident, at the end of the day, like LeBron, we just mentioned it. You've been playing for 20-plus years. I think you can take a slap to the face.
Have you not taken one of those before? I mean,
this is not a drama class. This is not Broadway. Like, get up, quit crying like a little baby, and play basketball.
Right.
Like, oh my God, you got hit in the face, dude. You wore a mask with the heat.
I know Natalie's tough. Natalie, you would have taken that shot better than that, wouldn't you?
She wouldn't have cried like a baby. I know that.
Not at all.
It's like, get up. Get up.
You guys, listen. Natalie's a mother. Mothers do not cry like babies, man. Mothers are the toughest people man.
That's the thing,
Period.
though. Like, I'm a wrestler. Wrestlers, fighters, in any aspect know that a slap in the face is nothing.
But y'all do this all the time.
Cries like a little.
All the time.
Cries like a
I
little.
love LeBron. Don't get me wrong. I love him.
You've been playing since pretty much 2003. I was born in 2003. But dude, I wonder how many. If there was a count, I wonder how many times he's been hit in the face. I wonder.
If that was
My favorite part is Max talking to LeBron like he's watching the show right now. I love that.
If I was the ref, I would have stayed next to him and I'm like, okay, you gonna get up or what? Like, I'll just give you a foul right now because this is ridiculous. Like,
LeBron, if you're watching, please comment. We've got an open comment section right here for you, man.
It's like you're wasting my time and you're wasting the audience's
in the NBA.
You're wasting my time and you're wasting the audience's time.
So
it's like, get up.
It's all a mind game.
Dylan Brooks did nothing in the wrong here. LeBron is just a little baby.
In the NHL, you can get a penalty for flopping, like over exaggerating a penalty. Like if you get high sticked. And like
if they had it in the NBA, they wouldn't be.
Oh my gosh, it'd be insane. You get high sticked in hockey, yeah, it hurts.
Like, I almost challenged you on a grammar thing. I almost said, would it be high stuck? But that's not it. You're right. It's high stuck.
No,
but somebody like
that?
In hockey, some people like they get hit in the face. Like it's really hard. It's a piece of it's a thin blade that can get hit here. But, like when they do it, they go. Like,
hey, totally unrelated. Did you guys see in hockey the under 18? They're regulating the net guards now. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Any under that's I think it's about time. It's well beyond time for that. I think.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like if they introduce like a flopping rule in the do they have a flopping rule in the NBA?
No.
No.
If they had that, oh my gosh.
But
That would be
listen,
the
that's all.
funniest
But I mean,
ever.
it's such.
Like I said,
So
it's
how do you
not
call
drama
that? How do you
fest.
call
It's
it?
not
You're going to
drama fest.
review every foul to see if somebody flopped, or I don't know.
Well, no, some of them are going to be blatantly obvious, but like others are like.
It's still not as bad as soccer, you guys. I mean, sometimes in soccer, it's like anybody runs in like a guy's general personal space, and they're doing backflips and like they're putting band-aids on in the field. Like, I don't know what that's about. I don't get that.
I hit Jared. He's going to flail all over the turf like he just broke his ankle.
Right.
Yeah, I mean. At the end of the day,
But he's got an ACL
LeBron,
injury to come back from, so he may be concerned about that.
It's like at the end of the day, LeBron, put up or shut up. You've lost the last 2 games.
But was y'all mad when he was doing that with the Cavs? Was y'all mad about when he got the call?
I don't watch basketball. No,
He got his first. He got his first ever technical foul. So he didn't get a technical all the way until he came back from Miami. He got his first technical foul the year, I think it was 2018 when we had Dwayne Wade.
It just seems like
he was growing up right in front of our very own eyes.
He made a name for himself. He's got to complain about something every single game. Like every time I see something on Sports Center about LeBron, he's always complaining to the refs. It's like, dude, you're not royalty. Like, I don't care if you're one of the best players in NBA. Like,
are you sure he's not? He's kind of NBA royalty, man.
Jared, stop. Time out. You said he's not royalty. People call.
I mean, we've called him the king since he was like 17.
If you're gonna be called a king, act like one. Don't act like a crappy prince.
Oh,
I know that's right.
Ooh.
Jared ain't
Crappy prince,
if you're a
LeBron
prince,
James.
you're not 18. That's how he's acting.
But y'all know he's been doing this since he started.
He's been doing this since he was 18.
Like literally. Y'all ain't surprised.
It don't seem like it. Don't act like a crybaby. Don't act like a little kid when you get hit in the face. I'm sorry.
All right.
Like,
Going full Stephen A. Smith today on LeBron. All right. Fair enough. All right. That's
like
fair.
basketball players, to say the least.
Okay.
Skip. We got Skip Bayless here, everybody.
We got some anger this morning. I like it. Hey, let's check in with the Cavs. That makes us happy. They're 28-16. They're 5th now in the Eastern Conference.
They actually moved up to 4th last night.
Oh, they did move up to 4th. Okay, yeah, there were a couple of games I didn't get.
No, that's okay.
Press times and things like that.
I will say one thing. When we talked about, all right, Jared. We talked about them last week. They won how many straight? 9?
It was 8.
8 straight. Then they lost. So
well, they faced the Bucks, and to be honest, they had a great game against the Clippers. Mobley was back. Garland is supposed to be back tonight against the Pistons. And if you look at the Cavs schedule, they have the Pistons, Grizzlies, Spurs, Kings, and Wizards.
Watch them come in red hot, by the way, and lose by 40 to the Pistons tonight, like with everybody on the floor.
No, I would hope not.
If we lose to the Pistons, I'm getting a Pistons tattoo.
I mean, we should have a.
Wait a minute. Let's revisit that. Max, repeat that.
If the Cavs lose tonight to the Detroit Pistons, I'm getting a Pistons tattoo.
Okay, first off, let's settle terms. This is live, okay? This is happening live.
Y'all remember?
Where at on your body? Like shoulder, elbow, you want forearm, full sleeve? What are you doing here?
What do you mean? No, because this Cavs team who are like on fire now, they got their big guy back and they're getting their point guard.
I don't want to talk about basketball anymore. I want to talk about where we're going to get you this tattoo when the Pistons beat the Cavs tonight. That's what I want to talk about.
I mean, at the end of the day, the Cavs have a schedule coming up in the next 5 games where they could make some ground in the East,
Okay.
And they should.
Listen, by the way, when the Pistons do beat the Cavs, because I'm going to root for the Pistons now. We're live streaming that tattoo for Max. That's going to be a thing. We're doing that live. That's going to be a Come On Ref first ever, man. Right? Yeah, Brandon. Yeah, he just heard him say, yeah, see? They heard you, Max. Now you got to follow through. You say it live, you got to follow through, buddy. It can be a tiny little, you can get a little D or something. I don't know. I'll say that on the show. We'll move on.
but no, the Cavs are playing great. I'm glad some of their star players are back to Mobley and Garland, and they should hopefully make some ground up in the East with their upcoming schedule.
They have. I mean, since we
let's check in with the West real quick because I don't know. I mean, OKC and the T-Wolves are kind of still on top. Denver kind of wedged themselves in last night. I saw the standings late. Again, didn't get that into the press times. I was tired. I went to bed. But yeah, I saw that. I don't know. I'm looking at the West, and it's like there's a lot of really good teams that I don't know. Some of them are probably going to miss the playoffs, right? Like the Lakers and Mavs are like right there on the bubble. The Warriors are done. Like I don't know what the Warriors are even doing. Like I don't know how to lose.
When you say good teams, Chad, I mean, are the Lakers and the Mavs good teams?
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Some teams with big names, I guess I should say. You're right. That's fair.
Because I mean, I was not expecting the Thunder or the Timberwolves to be this good.
Nobody was.
No one
Nobody
was.
And they're playing great basketball.
Yeah.
I mean, LeBron gets all the headlines because he's a household name. Same with Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic. And it's like, okay, you highlight a game where they won by 20. That's great. Or they get fouled and it changes the aspect of the game. But why does that matter? We're looking at an overall aspect
The
here.
Lakers and the Mavericks, I think, get more primetime TV slots than – I mean, Oklahoma City has had a couple in the past couple weeks, but Minnesota, like, they're one of the hottest teams in the NBA, and I've barely seen them on any TV network.
And that's always that way with Minnesota. They're just in a forgotten region. I mean, they're just like
Minnesota has that reputation of being good as a franchise.
Like, that's the thing. Like, they don't – like, I think that's what they look into. Like, what's this team going to do? Because if they're going to produce – this year, like unlike they have in the past years, then we're gonna put them on TV.
But if you look,
hey, listen, I bet a lot of it is that TNT production crew just doesn't want to go up to Minnesota in the winter. I mean,
maybe
right, and probably it.
But if you look at the stats right now, Chad, the standings, Mavericks are the 7th seed, 26-21, 7 games behind first place. The Lakers are 24-25 in the 9th seed, 10 games behind first place. The Lakers aren't even 500, and you're covering them that much just because of LeBron. Obviously, something's got to change in LA if you want to even be in the conversation.
Well, LeBron.
I'm trying to think back to if Jordan got this much run with the Wizards or not. I can't really remember, to be honest.
Well, LeBron's going to get so much the same amount of clout wherever he goes. He could go to what? He could go to Memphis and he's going to be praised like he's a god.
Yeah, either way though.
Aiden brings up a good point. If you have unlikable players, you don't get covered by the media, right? I mean, that's
right. But what's
a good point
to like about Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns?
Well,
like,
yeah.
I feel like when Booker had 70, Embiid had 70, and Doncic had 70, they covered all those guys. But when Cat put up 62, like, oh, good job, Cat. We're gonna keep talking about everybody else.
Well,
it wasn't 70 though, right?
If they're not liked right now, they'll definitely get liked in the playoffs because
what's not to like about the Timberwolves right now?
I'm just saying, like, because the media doesn't like them right now, they will like them when they're in the playoffs because they'll actually do something, unlike the Lakers.
Why
and
don't
the
you think they like them? Why don't I'm asking? Why don't
I don't know? You ask me.
I
do you think I know?
Well, no, because you said
Aiden's right though. I mean, Towns. I mean, they did lose that game. He got benched when he put up.
He got benched with 2 minutes left in a tight game, and they still lost. Like I mean,
either way, like
they're not the media, darling. We know that.
We understand the media, but at the same time, we don't. You know, we get it, views, cash, all that good stuff. But at the end of the day, we also want solid basketball. Lakers and Mavs are not playing solid basketball. I'm sorry. 5 games above 500 is not going to cut it.
No one's talking about the Clippers, though.
Well, and a lot of it comes down to just what generates clicks. I mean, guys want to it's like with Taylor Swift right now. I mean, everybody is so mad at Taylor Swift for showing up to football games and being shown on TV that, like, I don't know if these people comment on these stories on social media and they're like, why is this crap in my feed? I said, get it out. I'm like, I don't know if you realize if you comment on 24 Taylor Swift stories, you're going to see 57 more. Like, I don't know if you know that or not, but
it's the algorithm. If you like it, you're going to get more.
Like it, share it,
no matter what, save it.
You're going to get more. Yeah, you're going to get more stuff.
But like, I've noticed
all
now,
money, Aiden, you're right.
Like, because like what we go to school for like sports and everything, but like, I've learned that like it's just about the big guys who get the big money, the big contracts. No one cares about in any sport.
Well, I mean,
no one cares about anybody who's good, but they have a small contract. It's like players in contract years who are performing at top of their game.
Well,
no one pays attention to them.
We talked about it weeks ago when it happened, but imagine all the Sunday night baseball games that the Dodgers.
Oh my God, the Dodgers are getting every Sunday night
because of all the stars they have and because of their time zone. I mean,
every Fox Saturday game, every TBS game it's going to be the Dodgers.
ESPN Sunday night baseball, every Wednesday night, it's going to be.
But at the end of the day, I think the Lakers are going to have to play in the play-in.
If they even get there, they got to keep.
They're
playing.
in there right now, and I don't really think they're going to move. And the Mavericks, they might move up to the 6th seed. And if they don't play in the play-in and make the 6th seed, I don't really think they're still going to do anything. I'd be shocked.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
but
whatever.
I mean, I can definitely see the Mavericks making it and the Lakers falling out by the end of the season.
They got to build something around Luka before it's too late there, man. Speaking of like the guys that put up 70 points recently, man, I want to talk about Joel Embiid because, and Natalie, I'm gonna ask you this question. Embiid, he's having a better season really than he's had in the NBA. He's having a better season than his MVP season, right? But is he? Natalie, do you think he's going to play enough games to actually win the MVP this season? I mean, he's already missed what? He's missed 12 games already with the knee injury.
I think he's missed 12, and he can only miss 17.
He's got 5 for the rest of. He's going to miss 5 games for the rest of the season. Natalie, is he going to play enough to win the MVP? Or
know like what
11 or 12.
Like, did you see him? There was a video of him warming up in Denver. Did you see that? And how he was just shooting free throws, and the training staff was watching him.
Oh yeah.
And they went into the locker room and said, "Yeah, it doesn't look too good for you, so you're not playing tonight." And then Denver just went into him. Like, where are you at? Like,
I mean,
say the MVP.
I mean, Chad, you talk about it a lot too about the Jordan era, 90s basketball.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, if that was the 90s era, Joel Embiid would have been playing.
Oh, yeah.
Because the 90s era, and just sports in general, but especially basketball, is so different from today.
Yeah.
And with all
there were no flops because these guys wouldn't let you flop. I mean,
yeah,
it's
right.
and it's like I think Embiid, it's like, dude, what are you doing? Like, do you want to play or not?
I think another thing comes into effect here. Season length too. These guys can't play so many games straight and expect to be 100% healthy. Like MLB,
But 17 games is a lot.
well, MLB
It's a lot.
Right.
Unless you have like a season.
Tyrese Halliburton's 3 away from not being eligible for NBA All-Pro.
Well, he got hurt last night.
He hurt his hamstring like a couple of weeks ago, but it's like MLB. Anthony Rendon said MLB should not be 162 games.
oh, okay. By the way, do you think any Angels fan wants to hear it from Anthony Rendon about season
No,
length
no one
or
wants to.
anything right now?
But
You
if
guys
they-
played what, like
I agree
47
with-
games
I
since he
agree.
signed that contract?
I agree with
62?
Max. I don't think it should be 82 games.
It's 162 or NBA.
Yes. I don't think it should be 82 games. I think it should be less because considering how
Well, you
long
gotta
the
play every
NBA
team, that's the
playoffs
thing.
is. But even then,
How many
82
games do you think? I mean, what do you think it should be?
I think it should probably be like 70. 70 is probably a good amount. I mean,
Okay.
because you got to figure all the games that you're playing in the playoffs, and then all the players
Well, no,
who
it's gotta
play
be
and resting.
an even number. It
Yeah.
can't be odd because you
I
can't
said
go.
70.
So no one. So 82, you go 500. You're 41 and 41. You go 70. What? You're.
You're 35 and 35.
Yeah, that's right.
Someone can't do math apparently.
Oops.
Mid-take math. I don't know. Yeah, I maybe said Aiden says it should be 68 games, maybe. But then you get the purists. They get their they get their whatever up in a bunch, right? Because it's more baseball because it's like, the 60 home run mark or the, whatever, 73, I guess, if you want to talk about Barry Bonds. But it's just like the milestones. People like to see the milestones in baseball. I guess you don't really have that in basketball because everything's points per game anyway.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you could shorten the season there, but I don't know. It's 82. It's what we have. It's probably not going to change because they make a massive amount of money. And, the TV deal, it's just out of control right now with the NBA.
and
They're not going to shorten their product up for it. They're not going to
At
do
the
that.
end of the day, if Embiid's not eligible for MVP, I mean, fans will be like, okay, you're stupid. But I think Embiid's going to be like, okay, I don't care. Like, I've
Yeah.
already won an MVP. I want to win an
Yeah.
NBA title.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
What do you think about this? You're just sitting in the corner.
No, I was.
Well, I tried to ask her, Max, but you got excited. So
Sorry. Go ahead.
Like you guys said, the 17 games is a lot to be missing. You said he's at 12 right now.
I think so.
I don't-
I'm not sure.
Is it? Are we sure it's 17?
11 or yeah, it's 17.
Okay. That's
I don't think it would be really eligible for the MVP. I mean, that's a big title. Like, that's a big thing, in the NBA. So I don't know. I just think that you shouldn't even have, like, if you can miss 17 games, I think at the most as an MVP candidate, you should miss maybe 5 to 7. Because I mean, most valuable player, like, break it down. Most valuable, no. And then for you to just not be playing and get no.
I mean, they do say the best ability is availability, right?
That's it.
Oh, there you
That's
go.
it.
Helps to
So,
be out there for your
I
team.
mean, I wouldn't, I love Joel, but maybe not this year.
Yeah, maybe not this year. And speaking of maybe not this year, I think a lot of Michigan fans, we're going to move on, but I think a lot of Michigan fans are probably pretty excited that maybe they got their national title because Listen, I don't know what's going to happen with the NCAA investigation. They've got multiple investigations right now. They've got the possible recruiting violations. They've got the Connor Stallions thing. And maybe worst of all, their coach, just Jim Harbaugh, just bolted for the NFL. See what I did there? Bolted. Huh? He agrees to a contract with the Chargers. I don't have it for, was it 5 years, $80 million? I think $16 million a year. Is that right?
He got up and he got up and
I didn't realize he played for the Chargers too.
Yeah, he did. The Chargers.
Yeah.
He's quarterback.
So I mean, I thought it was a great fit for him.
Yeah.
He's got talent. He's already
got a great quarterback to work with.
Yeah.
He was in awe when he met him. He was like, "We can do some stuff."
Yeah. But again, it's like we talked about.
He's a weird dude, man.
Yeah. It's like we talked about with the MLB. On paper, it looks great, but do they?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because the AFC champions, in Super Bowl hopefuls, Kansas City Chiefs is in their conference. So if you can dethrone the Chiefs, then you're talking to me. If you can't dethrone the Chiefs, I don't want to be. It's like with the Bills. Like, if you can't dethrone the Chiefs, then it's gonna be the same thing year in, year out. So the Chargers have to prove that they can dethrone the Chiefs. Then we'll talk. Then we'll put you in the conversation for possible Super Bowl champs.
That's fair. I think the Chiefs are in the middle of a dynasty, and we can talk about that. You know, we've got a couple of weeks to talk about that.
Yeah.
Leading up to the Super Bowl or whatever. But I think that for the Chargers, I think we learned that, okay, if you're Jim Harbaugh, you can pick your nose. If you're the Chargers, you can pick your coach. But if you're Michigan, don't pick your new coach's nose, because what's he going to do? He's probably going to cry. So what's Michigan going to do? They've got Sharon Moore, right? Offensive coordinator Sharon Moore. How many times are we going to see this guy cry on TV now? Is this going to be an everyday thing?
What do you think he's going to do when when they win his first game? Do you think he's going to go, "I miss you, Jim"?
He's got to one up, and he's got to poop his pants on live TV now, right? He's got to do this. He can't just cry.
Now he
He'll
actually
he'll probably get a Gatorade bath and then slip and fall.
That's it. And then sue the university, right? Yeah, why not?
He now actually has to face Ohio State with chances of him not being under the spotlight, not Harbaugh.
And by the way, I've got some Michigan fans. I've got some friends that are Michigan fans that I love, man. I love you if you're watching the show. I love you. If you're not watching the show, F off. I'm just kidding. But no, listen, I've got some Michigan fans that I'm really, really close to, man, my personal life. Can I please ask you how I'm reading on social media right now that Ryan Day, our coach, who was born on third because Urban Meyer handed him the keys to a pretty well-run organization. Can I please ask how Sharon Moore is now not being born on third base? Because this is, I see on show, well, this is just good program maintenance. Harbaugh is just leaving it in good hands. This isn't the same thing as Ohio State. What are you talking about, man?
Harbaugh recruited that whole team.
The whole team.
Sharon
And I know they're
Moore
losing a lot of guys. I know it's not exactly the same as Ryan Day walking into a pretty loaded roster that was going to be coming back or whatever. Fine. But I mean, it's the same thing. He's let Harbaugh do this work for however many years. It feels like 100 years Harbaugh's been there. And now he's being born on third base. It's the same exact thing. Don't act like it's different. It's not.
And that's the thing. Like Michigan is losing people to the draft.
Yeah.
And an offensive coordinator job and a head coach job, there's some different pieces in the puzzle for that.
Yeah.
Defensive coordinator.
They lost Jesse Minter too.
There's some different pieces of the puzzle.
Their strength and conditioning coach is gone, which makes a huge difference in college. It's not going to make a big difference in the NFL, but
a lot of people don't realize a head coaching job versus an assistant coaching job or a coordinator job, whatever it may be, is much different.
Yeah.
Like not only the category of the game, but the stuff outside of football that goes into it.
The responsibilities are exponentially larger now. I mean, it's not just a couple more things. Like it's
like
amazingly
recruiting,
large.
setting up games, all that
So
other
be
stuff.
born,
you know,
like
You better keep the alumni happy too.
yeah,
Gotta keep the boosters happy.
Like with Sharon Moore, it's like this upcoming class and the freshmen, sophomores, and the juniors that are gonna who. This had nothing to do with Sharon Moore.
No,
They probably didn't even know who he was.
and it's probably like
They had to, but they probably some of them didn't really oh, he's just the offensive coordinator.
and this is probably the same situation as Alabama. Nick Saban left, so some people are either going to decommit or transfer.
And that's what happened. Half their team entered the portal.
And Michigan could do the same thing. Michigan players.
yeah, there hasn't been like a huge, exodus of guys from Michigan, but
No. But
also that early portal closed, and now you've got to wait until April. So we'll see what happens.
It could become that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
For sure.
but
I mean, it's like a where did this like born on third base even come from? Like
I don't know. It's Hardball opens his mouth and the weirdest things fly out, and then this entire fan base repeats them like it's a cult. Like I gotta listen. My whole social media feed for like months. The team. I'm like, this is like early onset dementia, man. I have no idea what's happening right now on social media. I just stopped listening to it.
When Harbaugh left for the Chargers, there was like an AI picture of him placing Sharon Moore on home plate. Like
it's too much. Guys leave all the time. Guys take over the job. Let's not rip on Sharon Moore. Let's not rip on Ryan Day because they took over a program. Like, I mean, let's be fair. I put the picture up of Sharon Moore crying, but I'm having a little fun with Michigan fans. But
Urban Meyer took over what? Took over for who? Who did he take over? I don't know.
Jim Tressel. Well, not technically Jim Tressel. It was Luke Fickell, but it was the
off year. He took over for Fickell. Then he brought in his guys. Those guys won a national title. Then when Urban Meyer went to the NFL, Ryan Day took over those guys. Ryan Day brought Justin Fields in. He didn't. Yeah. Urban Meyer didn't get him.
Ryan Day's done plenty for this program. And to say that he's now on the hot seat because they've had this good offseason, in the transfer portal, to me is also ridiculous. It's still just as hard to win in college football. It doesn't matter if you have a lot of really good players. Like, it's hard to win.
I feel like that makes him on the hot seat even more because you bring in all this talent. Same thing, paper versus the field. Bring in all this talent from the transfer portal. They have to produce. They have to beat Michigan. They have to beat teams in the college football playoff.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I guess that's fair. Whatever. I don't like it, but it's fair. Let's talk about. We got to talk about the conference championship games. We got about 20 minutes left here. Time is absolutely flying, and I want to talk about. Let's talk about Chiefs and Ravens first. Okay. Chiefs are going back to the Super Bowl for the 500th time in 7 seasons or whatever it is. Feels like that. They beat the Ravens 17-10. Felt like the Ravens never really got anything going. They were just pressing this whole game. It felt like Lamar did everything out of frustration in this game. Is the Chiefs defense that good?
No, I really don't, Chad. I think Baltimore just really struggled offensively. Yeah. They fumbled the ball when they were about to score a touchdown. Lamar threw an interception. Their defense held the Chiefs scoreless in the second half of this game.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, the offense just didn't produce. And they didn't run the ball as much as they did the whole season.
Are the lights – is it time to start talking about – are the lights too bright for Lamar Jackson in the playoffs?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's a fair question to ask.
Yeah,
he's won 2 MVPs, but he's not made it to the – he's made it to the AFC Championship game once?
It was a terrible offensive production. And you can say, oh, I'm proud of my team. I'm looking forward to the offseason. All this. That's a little crap. Like – It doesn't matter. Like, people are going to remember you for what you did. And making an AFC Championship game means nothing.
Now, I know Natalie's going to back me up on this one here. Odell Beckham Jr.'s dad needs to can it.
No, that's not real, man. That wasn't real. You saw that. That was a fake account. Did you see that?
Okay, but if
that was a fake account. Yeah, it got me for a second, too.
Like, he did the same. If that was real, he did the same thing with the Browns. But maybe... Like, if that was true, maybe
unless he has the worst burner of all time and has no idea how to hide his identity.
Maybe he needs to realize that his son is not the greatest thing since he made that catch.
The Giants, yeah.
That catch is what brought him his fame. He's not. Otherwise, he's not that good of a receiver.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'll be honest too. I mean, it was kind of like with the Browns this season. Like the Ravens lucked out with some injuries, but at the end of the day, they did have some key injuries. I mean. Even
Mark Andrews.
Yeah, Mark Andrews just came back. He didn't play for a while. And even injuries that started the season, like J.K. Dobbins, like their draft pick.
That man's legs are a liability.
He was fantastic for Ohio State, and he's been fantastic for Baltimore unless he's gotten injured. So even though he wasn't a factor for them all season, he could have been for this game. And they've just been hit with a bunch of different injuries.
Yeah.
And, just like I said, not a great offensive game.
Did you guys see? Speaking of one great offensive thing did happen. Did you guys see Travis Kelce set the all-time playoff receiving record in this game?
I did. He passed Jerry Rice.
Rice, yeah, that's a pretty big name, man. 156 career catch is amazing.
I mean, we have to talk about
Natalie knows about the Jerry
Kelsey
Rice.
and Mahomes being the GOAT of football because they beat Brady and Gronkowski in touchdown passes in the postseason, and now
Montana.
Kelsey has now beaten Jerry Rice in the most postseason receptions, and Mahomes has only lost to Brady. So we have to talk about them being in the
He's
conversation
lost to Burrow.
in the playoffs.
He's lost to Burrow. AFC
So, but he did
champion,
lose it, yeah.
2021.
Oh yeah. Well, anyways, you have to talk about him being in the conversation for as the GOAT of football because
I
4
think that's fair.
times in the last 6 years been in the Super Bowl. I mean, that's just insane.
Brady was there
Yeah.
every year.
And Mahomes just always finds a way to get it done. I mean, not overwhelming numbers. He's 30 of 39, 241 yards, a touchdown. But he didn't turn the ball over. You know, obviously that was huge in this game. Because make no mistake, I mean, we talked about it. Lamar Jackson had a great, well, I don't want to say great game. He had some good throws. He was 20 of 37, 272 yards. He did throw a touchdown. The interception, though, did you guys feel like he forced that ball into the end zone there?
Dude,
Oh,
it was
yes.
triple coverage.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just like
Well,
But again,
I
out
mean,
of frustration, right? Like,
to be honest, besides the fumble and the interception, there were a lot of drop passes too.
yeah, there were.
So I mean, it felt like Kansas City earlier in the season when they were dropping passes left and right. It was
Yeah.
like they
I
just
thought.
switched offenses.
Remember how we all thought Kansas City was it midway through the season? It was at what Thanksgiving or Christmas game?
Yeah.
We thought this is it. Kansas City's dynasty is over. They are in turmoil, and then all of a sudden, playoffs come around and
They somehow shake it off. Shake it
it's
off.
like they're immortal in the playoffs.
You suck, Chad. You suck.
But they
I
did
mean-
it so swiftly. It's amazing.
It's the same. I mean, it's the same.
It's like a
rematch.
tailor hand fitted there. Okay, I'm done. I'm sorry.
It's the same. It's the 2020 Super Bowl rematch. And if you think of it, okay.
Max, hold for my applause. Okay.
Sorry, Chad.
Now go. Get him a calculator, please, while we talk about numbers. Can somebody get him?
So it's the 2020 rematch of the Super Bowl. It's the same uniform rematch too. If you think
Yeah.
of it, like
Yeah, they did talk about that. 15 out of the last 19 Super Bowl winners have worn white. San Francisco is wearing white, and
But
when
the
when they did face the Chiefs in 2020, they lost in white.
the Patriots lost in white. Who else lost in white? It's really.
I don't remember, but
Chiefs.
it should be. I mean, it should be interesting to know that I think Taylor Swift has generated like $331.5 million or
How do you
something,
do that?
and a big female fan base, and she's Taylor Swift.
But it's
Since dating Travis Kelce,
Because she's a boss, Max. I mean, she's an absolute boss,
Her
dude.
net
Like,
worth in October was $4.1 billion.
And that's the thing too. Like she's still on tour.
We-
She's gonna be in Tokyo the night before the Super Bowl.
That Friday.
Yeah, and she'll have to fly
well, drive.
13, 14 hours, however long it is,
The 17-hour
Two-
time difference.
to LA and then to Las Vegas to make the
It's
Super
a
Bowl.
love story. The Super Bowl. What is this?
Oh my-
15.
Imagine the Chiefs win and she makes a love story Super Bowl song.
Dude, hey, get
Wow.
ready for it. It's coming. It'll sell too, man.
I mean,
CBS
but
always does a
but she
remix
can, but
at
she
the end of
can,
the
but
year
she can,
highlights.
but she can make the game. So
Yeah.
it's still
She's
possible
traversing
that she'll be there in
time.
person.
Time zones. I mean, she's time and space to get to her. I think it's fun, man. It's fun.
It's like 17 hours.
She'll be in
She'll-
the PJ, so.
And by the way, can you guys please honestly answer this? And Natalie, I'll start with you. Does anybody have a problem with anybody showing Taylor Swift during a game?
You know what? I read a tweet where somebody says, "Dear, Roger Goodell, whatever."
Yeah,
whoever.
the commissioner.
Yeah,
Yeah,
please
yeah.
stop forcing fans on Taylor Swift. But I don't think that they forcing the fans.
Look
I
at
just
this
think
Matt.
she's. I mean, what do you expect? She's the biggest pop star in the world,
Right.
not the U.S.
I think she's the
world.
biggest music singer in the world.
Yeah, in the
Yeah.
world. So Travis
Period.
Kelce from Cleveland Heights, like kudos to you, dude. Like I'm
Right.
happy for y'all.
Who's
Like,
not
I'm
happy for people being happy, man? Like what? Like and what is it? By the way, I just want to talk to all the toxic masculinity out there. Like, what is it between plays that you think you're going to see that you're missing? Like, you want to watch a coach put a Denny's menu up over his face and call a play? Like, what are you missing?
I mean, I'll be honest, Chad. I'm a Swiftie. Like I like her music, Am I going to
Yeah.
go see her in concert? No. One, because I can't afford it. Two,
I'm not invited to
because-
that. I can't. Yeah, I don't have enough money to even
Two,
think about it.
because I haven't gone to a lot of concerts in my life.
I've never been to
Right.
one.
I don't
So-
like concerts,
Yeah, so it's like I like her music. That's great. Like, and like you said, what are you gonna miss when they show her for like a good
Right.
5-10 seconds?
It's not like they're showing her instead of like 5 plays in a row. I mean, calm down. Like it's not a big
Right.
deal.
Yeah.
Now,
I don't
do you
know.
guys think that she'll do the Super Bowl halftime next year? Because her tour will be over.
No.
No.
I think it takes more time than that, honestly, Max. I think it's like 4 or 5 years
It's just
ahead
a
of time
Super
that it's all
Bowl, like,
commissioned.
You have to prepare for it diligently.
Like, in
Well, she's been
5
singing
years.
40 to
They need to see
36
like a set
songs.
list like 4 or 5 years before so they can start approving those things for TV too.
Yeah, like you gotta hire
takes a long
dancers,
time.
You gotta get a stage.
Well, she's
All
been
sound
singing
effects,
for the
lighting,
past
all that good
2
stuff.
years on tour, or like year and a half on tour.
She probably wants to take a break.
Right.
Yeah, she is human.
Yeah, like some shows she did in like Argentina, and I think it was like Brazil or something like that.
Who's Argentina?
2 people died because of the heat.
Really?
Yeah, at their concert, at her concert. So like she was shell shocked by
Oh,
like
that's
that.
terrible.
You know, like.
And I know that hits her hard. I mean, she's a person who cares about, people. I mean, not just her fans. She cares. You could tell.
Right.
She wears that on her sleeve. That's genuine. I mean, you can really tell that comes through
Yeah.
the screen. But Yeah.
Nothing's wrong with that.
well, whatever. Let's talk about the NFC Championship game. Wow, the Lions had this thing, man. I mean,
Did
the Niners won at
go to
34-31. Whatever, that's fine. We can talk about, Brock Purdy all you want. Brock Purdy had a great game, 20-31, 267 yards, touchdown. He did throw an interception, but I thought he made a lot of plays with his arm and with his legs. For people saying he's not really the most athletic guy, he looked pretty athletic in this one, I thought.
I mean, I don't remember who said it on. I think it was Get Up. Brock Purdy is better than Dak Prescott. He is
Okay.
better.
Why
is
are we
better-
even questioning that?
Well,
He is
no,
better.
he didn't let me finish. I think he said like Dak Prescott, Josh Allen, and like one other quarterback that's really a household name in the NFL because he can beat the good teams and he can make it to the Super Bowl.
He
I get it. Like the AFC, in my opinion, is more quarterback stacked than the NFC. But at the end of the day,
Yeah.
Super Bowl appearance is a Super Bowl appearance. And like we said with Lamar earlier, and now with Allen, they haven't done any of that.
Yeah.
And Brock Purdy has done it in his first
No.
official season as a starter.
Now, when was the last time Mr. Irrelevant went to the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Because I remember Mr. Irrelevant pretty much is irrelevant. They didn't have a career in the NFL. Brock Purdy is, I think, one of the first Mr. Irrelevants in a long time to have a name for him.
It's amazing what he's done. It's amazing. It's
And he just
absolutely
looked
amazing.
nonchalant.
And it's not, listen, it's not just that defense. Like I said, Purdy made some play. It's also nice to have, I mean, it's okay
Nick
to have.
Bosa and Chase Young.
Trent
Yeah.
Williams got blocking for him.
Yeah, we got help.
Yeah.
That's the only
It's
reason
also
why
nice to have
I-
Christian McCaffrey on your squad. It's good to have him on your team too.
Yeah, me too.
That helps.
But no, the Lions definitely choked this game, Chad.
Yeah, they were up 24-7 at halftime, Jared. Like they had this thing,
They
man.
choked
They pulled Joe
it.
Woods.
They choked it, and Dan Campbell said, "Do you regret going on 4th down and all this other stuff?" He goes, "No, I don't regret it at all." You're a damn fool
No,
if you don't regret that.
There was
I
some
get it.
Points on the
Lions are
road,
most-
right?
The
There was
Lions, the
something
Lions
yesterday
are the
where-
Lions are the most aggressive team in the NFL, especially on 4th down. I get it. You've been playing like that all season long, but this is the playoffs. You don't get another shot.
You
That's
gotta take
right.
the point.
That's right.
You don't get another shot at coming back from a game like this.
Man, I get it. And it's like live by the sword, die by the sword. But like you said, this is to
No, like
get
some
to
people-
the Super
some
Bowl.
people said
You
on
take the
Twitter
points
that-
on the road,
Right,
man. You do it.
Some Cowboys haven't been
Some
in this
people said
situation.
Dan
It's okay.
Campbell. Some people said Dan Campbell should be fired because of the
No.
decisions he
No, you look what he's
made. I
done.
said
in the
some
past-
people.
but still,
It's not the majority,
I'm not
but
saying
some people
you.
think he should be fired
He
because of
shouldn't
his
be.
decisions on 4th down.
he shouldn't.
Yeah,
be.
that's
Because
extreme.
You look
That's
at what he
extreme.
did when he inherited this team. They were horrible. He took them from 3-13-1 to 9-8 to 12-5 and an appearance in the NFC Championship.
I mean, they're the Browns' sister franchise for a while. You know,
That-
Like,
Right.
That's great. But like we talked about it with other teams, are they going to be able to keep their pieces?
they
their
might for a
offensive
couple
coordinator
years. They
yesterday
might.
said he wasn't going to the Seahawks or the Commanders. He turned that down, so he's staying in Detroit.
But you need more than a coordinator. You need your core players to stay.
Yeah,
Well,
no, I
they're
think
gonna
their
have-
contract
the thing
situation is okay for a couple of years. They have a decent running
Also
back.
said, yeah, I think Dan Campbell said also that on that fourth down when he ran the ball, he said, "I gambled, I lost," And he also said in the locker room
But
to his players.
there was 2 4th downs. If
He
you would
did.
have gotten the field goal twice, you could have won the game.
We could have won the game.
And then
Well,
he
one I
also-
think would have been a really long field goal, wouldn't it? Well, the last one was very makeable. It was like a 43-yard.
I don't know who
7 instead of 10.
I think you're right, Chad. I don't know who their kicker is
I don't
because he
know.
never kicks apparently.
Jack Fox or something. I don't know.
Because it's
but
4th
either
and
way,
17, and they're going for it, I guess. Yeah.
Either way, when I think you have like a 30-yard field goal, why don't you go for it? Like that's
Yeah, you
He
got to take
also
the points
said
on the
to his
road. I mean,
players
that's,
last
I
night,
get it. Like I said, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. You're aggressive all year. Okay, you want to keep that same mindset. You don't want to turn it off in a big game, but, right there
In
when
the
you
big
needed
games,
points.
You got to make decisions that are
Yeah,
going to
you gotta be a
benefit your
little
team.
like this isn't Madden where you can be like, oh, oopsie, okay, let's play again.
Exactly.
Like,
Like,
Pause
you
and then
can't,
go back.
like, he said to his players after the game, and this was the ESPN Bleach Report, he said to his players in the locker room, this might have been our only shot.
And it's true.
And it's
True.
but it's like, as we've been saying, in that big of a game, you can risk it once, but you can't do it twice.
You gotta
Yeah,
know
no.
when to hold them in foul.
They almost
you
hit the
can't make-
onside kick.
yeah, you can't make the
Like-
same mistake. And it should be interesting to point out, like Max said, this might be their only shot. And with how great the Packers did this postseason,
We gotta
the
think about that.
Packers could dethrone the Lions next year in the North. Because even with Kirk Cousins possibly coming back to the Vikings
He won't, though.
and the Bears, like, having a
Well,
little
let's see
bit
what the
of
Bears
hope
do
with-
going forward in the draft, too. I mean, they could make some
Yeah.
noise, right?
I feel like that's like this division is like the biggest question mark.
It's hilarious.
Mhm.
Is the NFC North, besides NFC South, like that's a question mark every year just because of how bad the division is.
Yeah.
But with NFC North, based off of how the Lions and the Packers in the playoffs, and with the Bears in the draft coming up, I mean, it's gonna be really interesting who wins this division next year.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Well, listen, we've got the Super Bowl matchup set, right? What is it? Super Bowl 58? Is that right? Are we on that?
Yeah.
58? Sunday, February 11th, 6:30 p.m. is the kickoff. And listen, we'll get into our picks and predictions next week. We can talk about, do you guys want to talk about your favorite prop bets and things like that too? Like, you want to get into it? Let's get into it.
I don't know. I
I have a
anything
good
about
one.
betting.
Well, I don't bet on anything, but it's just fun to read the list of prop bets. You can bet on the color of Gatorade for the winning team.
I've actually,
Yeah.
without
Can't
betting,
you-
I've guessed it 2 straight years in a row.
Have you
Can't
really?
you-
See, you got to do a
can't you
couple
get-
leg parlay.
Can't you guess like who wins the toss and everything? Like
Oh
that?
yeah, you can. How long the national
Over,
anthem is
under,
going to be?
national anthem.
Over under, yeah, everything.
Yeah,
Everything.
you
man.
can
People are stupid. They'll bet on
People
anything.
bet the over under the national
They'll bet on
anthem. They bet
anything.
the Gatorade color. They bet the coin toss. Like
So they bet like which direction they receive. Or
I
something?
think so. Yeah. It's
I think there's a
last-
bet for what type
last-
of plane is used for the flyover.
I've never
They're
heard of that
doing
one.
too much now.
I'm pretty sure it's
No,
out
but
there.
the past 2 years, I'm not joking. I've actually gotten the Gatorade color right. Last year was purple. Look it up.
There you go. You got to find a bookie.
Congratulations.
This year it's probably going to be 49ers win. It's going to be yellow.
I
But if
was
the
just
Chiefs
thinking
win, it's
that
going to be purple again.
Okay.
Like I said, do you want a cookie?
All right.
You think I want-
Lakers, full Lakers theme on the Super Bowl Gatorade. Well, listen, like I said, we'll get to the picks and predictions next week. In the meantime, don't worry, we'll get Max a calculator. He's going to understand how numbers work and how things go together. And then I want to ask you guys a very kind of as well, some of you are Browns fans. Jared, this may be just a fun exercise for you to jump in on. I was just watching the way, I was watching my team seasons were ending or whatever. And Natalie, I'll start with you. Let's just forget the brackets, how they worked out. Just picture the Browns actually getting to the second or third round of the playoffs, okay? And what's the worst way? I'll just get to the question. What's the worst way you could have watched the Browns end their season? With a loss to the Steelers in the AFC Championship game, or if you watch the Browns get all the way to the Super Bowl and they got to go play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and our old friend Baker Mayfield, and Baker Mayfield ends the Browns season in the Super Bowl. What hurts worse there?
You know what? I would say the Steelers because I just cannot stand the Steelers at all. I don't care.
You think that's worse?
Yeah.
I think it is because I like Baker, y'all. I want to see him prosper anywhere.
But that's the
beating the
Super Bowl,
Browns,
Natalie.
I know that
Wouldn't
is
you
the
rather
Super Bowl.
wouldn't you rather lose the AFC Championship than the Super Bowl?
Yeah, you're right.
I'll give you guys my answer in a minute. I'll tell you my answer. Max, what do you think, man? I get what you're saying. I get it's like, but for me,
I mean, I'd rather lose the AFC Championship. I don't care if it's the Steelers or not. I'd rather lose the AFC Championship than the Super Bowl.
No, you're right.
Like
I
the Super Bowl is
like
is the last whatever kill.
I would hate
You're right.
that
I'm
final
gonna
boss
do it.
battle.
I would hate to see us lose to Baker Mayfield in the Super Bowl. And I would hate to watch us lose on a game-winning field goal to any kicker that we gave up on.
Yeah, and that's where I'm going with this.
Cam
I
George,
think,
Austin Seibert,
yeah.
any kicker we ever had.
Listen, if they lose to the Steelers in the AFC Championship game, someone said this to me. A friend of mine said this to me, and a great point. It's business as usual. We're used to watching them lose to the Steelers. That's no problem. They get to the Super Bowl for the first time in franchise history and then lose to a guy they threw out on the trash heap to pay $250 million for a guy who
That's worse.
stands on the sidelines. It is what it is. He's been hurt. I understand. But can you imagine the pain? I mean, at least if you get to the AFC Championship game and lose to the Steelers, that feels like progress. If you get to the Super Bowl and lose to Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, that feels like bottoming out. And it feels like it's time to just redo the whole thing.
It's like how Stafford lost to Goff and the Lions this year. You go back to the team that traded you and you lose.
Imagine that if the Browns win the Super Bowl and Phil Dawson kicked the winning kick.
Oh my God.
Phil Dawson.
Oh, yeah.
That would.
Is he going to sit in a recliner and kick that thing? Was he 60 years old now? Come on.
Imagine if they were in the Buccaneers, we'd lose to Baker, our number one pick, who was our hopes and our dreams, and we had that happen, and then we threw him in the garbage, and then Phil Dawson kicked it and just killed the whole city of Cleveland.
All right, hey, somebody tell Max what year Phil Dawson was born and get him a calculator. We got to get out of here. Listen, it's been a great day. It's so good to be back with you guys. I'm sorry I missed last week. I'm gonna try not to do that again. Life is busy, man. It gets really busy. But for Natalie, for Max, for Jared, again, I'm your host. I'm Chad. Thank you guys so much for watching. We appreciate it. We'll see you next Wednesday. Until then, have a great week. Bye, guys.